Thank you so much. So good morning from Innsbruck. It is good afternoon or good evening to you even, because there's quite a time difference. My name is Katharina. I'm the incoming exchange coordinator for bilateral partnerships at the University of Innsbruck. And since pictures and videos often speak to people more, I'd like to kick off our little presentation with a video. I hope that I'll get it right the first time, because I'm not that often using Google Meet, but I'm sure we'll find the best solution. 1 second. I hope you're able to see a YouTube video now. I won't say anything further right now. I'll just play the video.
This is the University of Innsbruck. And this is the University of Innsbruck too. And so is this. And this. And even this up here is the University of Innsbruck. And this here, and there, and right here too. Yet the University of Innsbruck is more than just the sum of its buildings. It is, above all, a great number of people. And all the people here have the same goal.
So what are you going to do this weekend?
They want to do research.
So, meine Damen und Herren, ich darf Sie ganz herzlich begrüßen
They want to learn.
Vorlesung im Rahmen der Experimentalchemie.
Gain new insights. And find solutions together. Sometimes it takes a change of perspective to give the mind extra space to think. Because, above all, university means learning to understand complex correlations, describing them, and preserving this knowledge. The university is a storage for knowledge, but how does that work exactly? Let's take Max. Max spends all his days looking for answers to ever-changing questions. Well, maybe not every day. In doing so, he gains new insights. Maybe even great insights. Perhaps he even achieves a breakthrough. Then again, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he fails many times. But no insights are in vain, and no findings are lost. On the contrary.
Hört mal zu, genau das ist doch die Lösung.
Someone else might use that knowledge to find a new way and follow a new vision.
Das hat uns gefehlt.
Das finde ich gut.
And that's just how scientific community works. Interdisciplinary thinking, allowing coincidences, accepting failures, and never giving up. That's how new ideas and solutions are born. Perhaps even new products or companies. At the Alpine Urban Campus in the heart of the Alps, where bridges to the future are built. Are you ready to build bridges? Then you've come to the right place. Just like 30,000 students, 5,000 employees, and 4,000 young people who graduate from the University of Innsbruck each year and carry their knowledge out into the world. Together, we build bridges to the future. The University of Innsbruck.
All right, and we are back with the presentation. I hope you can hear me again. So if the 3-minute video hasn't convinced you yet that you absolutely must study in Innsbruck, I have, of course, also prepared a few presentation slides. I'll now try to share my presentation screen. Maybe Christina, you can simply give me a thumbs up if you can see the presentation. All right, excellent. So we'll get right into this. Today's session is about student exchange at the University of Innsbruck. And we'll start with a few facts and figures because you can't do without them. So the University of Innsbruck is actually over 350 years old. We just celebrated our 352nd birthday last week on 15th of October. So far, we have 27,000 students, and about 44% of this group are international students. Among these 44%, there are, of course, some European students, but still, I think it's a pretty great number. On top of that, we've got 5,000 people working for the University of Innsbruck as well, so there's quite a lot of service for you. The university is divided in 16 big faculties, according to subject areas. Beneath that, there's 83 departments in these 16 faculties. We've got 130 study programs, which equals over 4,000 courses per semester. The University of Innsbruck is the largest higher education and research institution in Western Austria. You'll hear about Eastern Austria later during this presentation. And yeah, I would say we can offer quite a broad range. Some of our main research areas are also embedded in the region, in the geographic region. So the first one would be mountain regions. We also focus on digital science center, intercultural encounters and conflicts, molecular biosciences, physics, scientific computing, and economy, politics, and society. So our mission statement already defines us as managing seemingly conflicting topics in a productive manner, and we are also geographically oriented while being locally embedded in the region. Since we have been talking about mountains and the region already, I'll tell you a little bit more about the geography of Austria if you're not that familiar already. So you can see a little arrow here. So Innsbruck is right at the center of the province of Tyrol in the west of Austria. It is not only in the heart of the Alps, but it is also a great starting point for trips and journeys to other places close by. So, for example, you could take a day trip to Salzburg, where Mozart was born, or where also the movie classic The Sound of Music is set. You could travel south to Venice for a gondola ride. You could travel north to Germany. Munich is around here. There's the famous Oktoberfest, where you can have a mass of beer in autumn. Switzerland is fairly close, and of course it's always nice visiting our famous capital, Vienna, which is just like a 4.5-hour train ride in this direction. If you are a passionate hiker, as you can see the little mountains here, we've got plenty to offer there too. You can hike to summits, explore forests, swim in lakes. So there's a whole wide range of leisure activities that you can do. If you are more interested in culture, there are several nice old towns, castles, and other cities that you can visit. About Innsbruck itself as a destination, since I told you that our campus is already over 350 years old, the city of Innsbruck has grown organically around it. So the main campus, which is called Campus Innrhein, is located right at the city center near a river. So it's very picturesque. A lot of the students like to sit behind the university in summer, meet their peers, and just have a drink together on the grass. Other than that, if you want to find our office, we are located right in the old town next to our famous site, the Golden Roof. And also the picture where this is taken is just right outside on the opposite the street from our office. Okay, I had already mentioned the 16 faculties at the University of Innsbruck, so you can see there's quite a lot going on, from architecture to natural sciences, business studies, law, philosophy, psychology, social and political sciences, etc. Almost all of these faculties are also open for exchange students, apart from the Faculty of Teacher Education. What's important to note is when the University of Innsbruck started 350 years ago, we also had a medical school, but since this has become so big, the School of Medicine is now separate, and this is a different institution, so you cannot study medicine in Innsbruck. I'd like to tell you more about the study programs and courses as well. So in order to find the right study program for you, we'll click on this link, and I'll just show you my screen. I hope you can see it. Yeah, it should work. So yeah, we do not have that many undergraduate programs that are being taught entirely in English, but you can always use the search options to look what's available for you. I always recommend to choose both German and English, so you can find the biggest range possible, because although some study programs may be the language of instruction German only, they still might have some English classes along the way. So you can just browse this section and look up details if you're interested in something particular. You will see then an overview of the entire study program, similar studies, etc. There are also useful links to the faculty, but I'll jump back to the study programs now. Yeah, very popular among our exchange students is often our Bachelor in English and American Studies, because it has a lot of English classes and it is quite general. If your study program does not have enough available options in English, there's always the possibility to choose interdisciplinary courses. I will now also show you how to find courses. Our course catalog can be searched with an advanced search. You can either just open all of the options here and see what's available every semester, or you click the advanced search option. If you are only interested in English courses, for example, you just select this option. Then you select your faculty and the program you would like to do. Let's see what happens when I do that. All right, so you can see, for example, for the bachelor's program in architecture, we would have 11 different courses for the winter semester. You just click on the courses, it gives you all the details. What might be interesting to note is that the credits you will do here at the University of Innsbruck is called ECTS, and our courses range from 1.5 ECTS to 7.5 ECTS, so there's quite a huge range, and this also tells you how much work you will have to put into the course. For a regular degree-seeking student, the number of ECTS they would do is 30, but as an exchange student, you can of course choose to do a little less, because it might be challenging to study in a different city and in a different country. Okay, let's move back to the presentation. I already told you about the interdisciplinary courses that you could also take that are outside of your program. We also offer a free German class for incomings, which is worth 5 ECTS, and I'm sure that'll help you round off your program quite well. In terms of the academic year, our winter semester is from October till January, the summer semester from March till June. I hope that matches with your schedule, otherwise just ask me afterwards. About the extracurriculars and additional information, we've got a University Sports Institute that offers a wide range of interesting courses for a little fee. So for example, you could do yoga, Pilates, climbing, skiing, and even upstream surfing on the River Inn, where a rope is thrown from a bridge and you surf a wild river. That sounds quite exciting, doesn't it? Otherwise, there's the Language Center where you can learn other languages. There's the University of Choir and Orchestra for musical people, a psychological counseling service that also has trained staff in English that are able to help you out if you feel a little bit overwhelmed, and our Students' Union, which is the students' representation. I'm almost at the end of my presentation. What I absolutely want to put your focus on is the Erasmus Student Network. This is a group of student volunteers who organize activities for exchange students particularly. And even before coming to Innsbruck, you can sign up for their buddy program. They organize city challenges with scavenger hunts, language cafes, even in different languages where you can meet your peers if you want to speak that language, pub crawls and parties, and also trips, hikes and bike tours. So on the picture you can see a trip to Salzburg, for example. They will also present their activities during our orientation session on the first day of the semester. Okay, in terms of transportation, Innsbruck is quite small, but still, if you want to travel the region, there's the possibility to get a Tirol ticket, which is a pass for the entire semester, or it's quite simple to get a bike if you just want to go around in the city. Since we've already talked about hiking and skiing, there's this thing called Freizeitticket, which is a ski, museum and swimming pool pass that is valid all year round that you can book, so regardless of when you come. About the cost of living, I think we should also give you a little overview of that because it's only fair to be realistic. Innsbruck is not the cheapest city by itself, but I can hope that your home university can give you information about available scholarships and funding. At the University of Innsbruck, the campus itself, we don't have our own housing, but the National Austrian Agency for Higher Education also has a housing service, and they usually help students find dorm rooms. All right, I'm now officially at the end of my presentation. If you want to get in contact with me, just use the email address provided here. I'm sure the international office of your university will also share the presentation slides with you. It's my pleasure to be here with you today, and I hope you have many questions now. Thanks so much.
Okay, the most important question at this moment was during the pandemic situation, that is there any effect or something like a student need to notice about when we're doing application for visa or apply for University of Innsbruck? Or do they need to do the quarantine, or do they need to take vaccine before they go into Innsbruck or not?
I understand. Yeah, that is of course a pressing issue. So the University of Innsbruck had never stopped its exchange program. So we have also accepted exchange students in the past winter semester. And now, of course, we currently have fewer students from overseas because traveling has become a little bit more difficult. And the entry requirements are also often changing. So we have compiled an information site for students. I will also post the link to the chat if you'd like, because I always find it easier to go along a certain document. So together with our Office for Business and Management, we have compiled an information site. So at the University of Innsbruck, we currently have about 50 to 70% of lectures taking place face-to-face. So there are strict safety measures about that. As long as you are at the university, you have to adhere to certain rules. So in Austria, there's this thing called a 3G requirement. 3G is an abbreviation for 3 Austrian or German words, and it means tested, vaccinated, or recovered. So whenever you want to enter a university building, you need to have proof of that. You have to wear face masks in all general areas. There's the social distancing and the hand hygiene thing. We also ventilate the rooms regularly, and very importantly, if you are a suspected case or a confirmed case of COVID, you will also have to notify the university for the contact tracing. So this is the current measures at university itself. And about the traveling and entry requirements, we have compiled some useful links for you. So depending on where you start your journey from, for some countries that we call low epidemiological risk, it is enough to simply present one of these 3G requirements at the border control. In other countries, you also have to do a pre-travel clearance where you simply state your data, so that the border authorities are already aware that you are arriving. And from some countries currently, like Brazil, I believe, with a high epidemiological risk, you might additionally have to do a quarantine and then stay in quarantine for 10 days, or cut your quarantine short by doing a test early. But this is difficult to say right now, because by the time you are traveling, the situation might change. So I always recommend to check the official sites and links, or just simply ask us what the current situation will be then.
Thank you, Katerina. And yeah, I will follow my second question about that. So seems like there's no many restriction for our students to doing exchange in Innsbruck. Some of students probably will still feel like afraid to study to going abroad. So if they would like to do in exchange online, is that possible, or student could only do face-on-face on-site exchange?
Well, actually, theoretically, I told you at the beginning of the last question, or of my answer, that we currently have 50 to 70% of face-to-face teaching. Depending on your study program, it might be more or less, but our rectorate has informed students that they would prefer them to come to Innsbruck, and even if the classes are online, take them from here. And it's always, we live in a fast-paced world, especially with the pandemic, with the conditions ever changing. Things might look different by the time you arrive in Innsbruck, because when you want to go on a semester exchange, it takes a lot of preparation and you have to start early. So it's always difficult to say something now, because nobody can predict what the future will look like next winter.
Yes, so it's quite clear that we also would like to have students have on-site exchange at NCHU, but we are under strict border regulation at this moment. Yeah. So another question for me is according to your presentation, that student could take courses around all the departments, but because based on our exchange, there's two kinds of exchange. There's normal exchange, and the other one is called go to IWW for management. So my question is, if students taking the management exchange, will they still have chance to take courses along other departments, or they could only take courses at the Department of Management?
Okay, yeah, that's actually a great question, and this also has a historic reason. So the Faculty for Business and Management, they have a huge number of exchange students, and also within the IWW program, so the International Business Program, it is embedded in the curriculum that the students must go abroad. This is why they kind of organize their own exchange. So you would have a different incoming coordinator, Christoph. I work quite closely with him, but normally, if you are an IWW, International Business student, you would have to select courses from this faculty. You could also take the German class, however, this is open for all of them. And you can also take interdisciplinary courses. It's just that from a regular exchange, we also allow students to take classes from other faculties. That is not possible in the business studies, but you can still choose the interdisciplinary courses. So interdisciplinary courses are open for everyone, and they range from computer science courses to intercultural communication, politics. So there's quite a broad range you can do. I would say with the general exchanges, we are even a bit more flexible, but still, even within the business program, you can do other courses to a certain extent.
The question is about, according to the presentation, that's for accommodation. You did not have their own accommodation from a University of Innsbruck. So will they have any help or help our student to find the accommodation off campus from your office? Were our student giving the help from you, or they do them by themselves?
Yeah, no, of course not. Sorry, was someone's mic unmuted? So I'll try to call up the website. So it might be a bit misleading. It's not that we don't help the students at all. It's just that ÖAD, the national agency, does the helping. So if you go to their website, you can apply for a dorm room in Innsbruck. You choose whether you want a double room or a single room, and also your price range. You can give preferences. They have English-speaking staff, and they, of course, help you to find rooms. There is a small booking fee, about like 35 euros or so per semester, but this is a great service and it is absolutely worth it. So they do help you find dorm rooms. It's just that the university doesn't have university housing themselves. I can, of course, also share the website with your students if you'd have to like a closer look. That might be easier.
Yeah, I will do the other important question for our students taking courses. Yes, according to the presentation, like the minimum would be 30 and ECTS for whole academic year.
The 30 ECTS is just a reference value, let's call it like that. So 30 ECTS is a full-time semester for a degree-seeking student here, so for an Austrian student, for example, but the exchange students can do less. We generally tell exchange students to take like 20 to 25. This is quite a reasonable workload, but of course they could also go below that and just do 6. So it's totally open. It also depends on what the home university's requirement is.
Yes. Okay. And there's one student have a question about if they only have English proficiency. So can they also get German taught courses or not? Or they can only take English taught courses?
If they don't speak German at all, you mean?
Yes.
I get it.
If they only have English proficiency but no have German, but they probably can know a bit German, but is that possible they can take German courses?
I don't think, no, probably not. As I told you before, we have even in degree courses that have German as the language of instruction, we always have some English options, but your students wouldn't be able to pass if the language of instruction of the individual course is German only. You have to be a bit more creative and probably also choose from the pool of interdisciplinary courses.
Okay. Good. And there's one student asking about the living cost, but I thought you have already included in your presentation. So we will share your presentation online, and then students have a big look about your PowerPoint and to make sure they know the living costs they need to prepare for. So
yeah, correct.
So thank you for Katarina for your time today, and it will be nice. It's nice to have you to doing the presentation for our students. So. We are glad to invite you, and maybe probably see you next time. Probably next time we will have this kind of events in person, probably. So thank you for your time. Thank you. So if we have include other questions, we will directly also send it to you and have a further answer from your side. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks so much. Bye. It was my pleasure. See you soon in Innsbruck.
Bye bye.